Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 563 of Geeks in Space. I am Rob Commander Taco Maldo, and I'm joined today in pretend low Earth orbit by two of the greatest geeks who are you ever going to meet, who are going to pretend that they are, interested and happy and thrilled and excited. And everything's fine. Chris DeBona.
Hi.
Rob Roseboom.
Hey there.
Coup. Everything's cool.
Everything's cool. Everything's going great.
Everything's cool.
This is all fine.
Yeah, it's normal.
Everything will be fine.
So I'd like to start by saying to those folks who have lost their jobs as a result of COVID, there's an opening at a printing and junk mail company in Northern Virginia. I think it's Northern Virginia. Navistar Direct. No, it's in Maryland. Frederick, Maryland, actually, Rob, not far from where you used to live.
Mm-hmm.
Navistar Direct Marketing is hiring. They have at least one opening that we know of.
Yep. Because it turns out it's really not the best idea to, stage a coup, get caught in selfies, and, still have your employer badge on.
Yeah, while wearing your work badge. What a moron.
Yeah, here's the moron in question right here on the right, next to the man dressed as a furry.
He's dressed as Cliff Lampy. Don't kid yourself.
He's dressed as Clampy. Oh, man. Yeah, he's wearing his badge. I'm like, when you were putting on your Trump stuff, did you just forget you were wearing your badge? Or probably his keys are on it, because that's like a big thing with the kids nowadays. So, yeah.
They wear their keys.
Yeah, it's a lanyard thing,
Kids like lanyards? I always hated that so much.
Oh my God! Now here, let me find you the news article
on lanyards and children.
I love lanyards because when I was doing like security for a living, that meant the lanyards was cool. The more lanyards you had, the better. You'd collect them from different tours.
So to give you an idea, this was let's see now. This was 2019 September.
Okay.
Before COVID. Okay.
So those guys are photoshopped into some really cool place.
Yeah. So
wait, that's a Photoshop?
In all fairness, it might not be a Photoshop. Those people could be floating like 300 feet in the air in front of what we're seeing, and this could be a zoom lens.
Yeah, the thing that kills me, why are there so many ads? Why does Stanford have to have so many ads on their daily newspaper? That makes no sense. The CDC classifies the illness as lanyard seasonal disorder, or LSD for short.
That's
Victims
a joke.
are most vulnerable to the neurological disorder when they arrive to campus. Yeah, obviously it's a joke. It's not a very good one.
Oh, okay. It even says at the end, this article is purely satirical and fictitious.
For sure. But clearly this person has it, and it led to him losing his job. So there you go.
I hope you guys have been listening to me for the last, as we chatted through this, and I'm still expecting the other shoe to drop. I'm hoping that was the last shoe, because when all that stuff was going on, there were people in like other state capitals doing stuff too. Like it was happening. Like that's what I was the most scared of. And I still don't know that it's over. But
as we discussed, my wife had to go and watch my niece because my brother-in-law got called in. He's a police officer, and the Detroit was calling in help from all over, just to make sure things were secure and make sure they had enough bodies. So yeah.
Between Whitmer and her fans,
Yeah. Well, I guess the good with air quotes in this case, the Whitmer thing already happened, because if the Whitmer thing hadn't happened and those dudes were still running free, they would have probably got it into their very bright brains to try to do that sort of shenanigan-y thing a little closer to this event. And I mean, ooh, that was exciting. I don't know. I hope that was the last thing. It does seem like between Twitter and Facebook finally actually having some teeth, and like McConnell actually like got in there, and Pence got in there, like we might actually be okay now. Maybe.
Oh, that's very optimistic of you.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless there's significant consequences for Trump, his enablers, folks like Howley and Cruz, this is going to happen again and again.
Well,
and
it's definitely going to happen again.
He officially this morning says that he is not going to be attending the inauguration, although that doesn't come as a surprise to me at all.
Yeah, he's a baby man who can't take any sort of like gracious.
Just think about that, right?
Yeah. Elected president of America can't even shake the hand of the guy who beat you.
Nope.
That's like, I make my kids do that sort of thing when there's a fight.
Well, it's like the end of the soccer game where they would have you, fist bump or shake hands.
Yeah.
The other
Good game.
No
Good game.
matter
good game.
effing what.
Go get your orange slices, kids.
Yeah, that wasn't an attendance prize. That was about being a good winner and a good loser.
Right. That's basic humanity. The sort of thing that was never drilled into that human.
Yeah, no, he's never had to be a human. So remember, this is a person who's never changed a diaper, never cleaned a toilet, never wiped his own ass. So it's like he's not, in any way someone you would expect normal human decency from. So yeah.
It's weird because I know a few people who were born rich, and I've never met anybody that just seems so off.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. There was the Musk thing. Elon Musk talked about Signal, and
like use Signal.
Yeah, and now a lot of people are using Signal. I like Signal.
Signal's good software, but let me ask you something.
When
he said use Signal, was his message to Donald Trump and these other people who've been deplatformed that they can't get deplatformed off Signal and they should use it?
I mean, that's what I would think.
I mean, that's the vibe I got, and it's like, read the room, buddy.
Might not be the right time.
Yeah, and it's also worth pointing out that Tesla, SpaceX, Elon Musk personally, none of them have ever supported the Signal Foundation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to point something out. When Musk says something like, I'm going to donate some money to Signal, wait for the receipts, because he said the same thing about the Tesla Museum. He said the same thing about all these other things, and he doesn't give a plumb nickel.
He likes them tweets, though.
He likes them tweets. So there you go.
Yeah, there was what was the NDAs or the whatever, the thing that nobody reads that you click on,
the click wrap,
that basically mean that they own your soul. Facebook and WhatsApp now, I mean, they're just telling you what they're doing, which is what they've always been doing. I don't know.
Oh, is this a different story?
Well, this is it was WhatsApp. The privacy agreement on WhatsApp, I guess, basically changed, changed. Facebook, is just admitting that they're, using every piece of information. They're using all parts of the cow, which, I mean, if you are a, conglomerate, that controls, the majority of information to a group of people, you use all kinds of the cow, all parts of the cow. That's how you do it.
Well, the thing that cracks me up, because it's not actually funny, but when they bought WhatsApp for $1.8 billion or whatever, or $18 billion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when they bought, Oculus for $2 billion, it's like, what did you think was the point there?
Oh, yeah.
It's like there was never a minute where they were not going to integrate with Facebook's back end.
Of course.
Whether it's their hosting infrastructure, their databases, their user authentication schemes, there is no world where a company buys another company and keeps it so purely and wholly separate.
Well,
it's like
there are cases, but not a case where your entire business is information like this.
Look at GitHub, and GitHub Actions is just a pathway to Azure.
Sure, but there's things like Berkshire Hathaway and stuff. There are models where there are models where this sort of thing can happen, and obviously their position would be that they sold us what? Who was investigating the WhatsApp one when that originally happened?
It might have been the Obama.
I don't know who
FTC,
approves that crap, and
it's the EU, because we didn't care about WhatsApp in the United States because there was not enough
That's
penetration here. So. But the EU certainly cared, and so did the Middle East, right? So
They should.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we've seen now like a lot of these little decentralized chat services come and go over the years. It'll be interesting to see what happens because I don't know. I mean, there's Bitcoin too, and that was another thing that we could talk about today. Bitcoin hit 40 grand a coin for like a hot second, and then it's back down to like 31.
No, it's at 41,000 now.
It's back up. Oh my god. Oh, you know what? Coinbase went down. I think that might have been where I checked. Oh wow, 41,208. Are you hodling?
No, I know. You know my story.
Yeah.
You know, since I had to look into that subpoena from, I think it was the New York Attorney General, I decided I couldn't own any Bitcoin, or lest I end up polluting that process. So that's how the cookie crumbles, baby.
That's right.
You have one Bitcoin.
I have one Bitcoin. I'm pretty excited about my one Bitcoin.
I mean, you could buy a new used Audi.
No, I'm telling you, I'm on the hodl gang. I'm waiting for $1 million.
You could buy half a library.
Well, that story we definitely wanted to get into. That's awesome.
So that is actually kind of nice. You know, it's kind of a classic bit of here. Let's share this tab, baby. Look at all that glass block.
Yeah, right.
Stone.
If I could buy,
you can't even tell the level of snow that is. You know, you almost can.
If I could buy that building at that price for within a half-hour drive of where I am, I probably would. But it's Minnesota.
I hate to break it to you, but you probably could. You know, if a half hour is on a highway, you know.
So this came onto my radar because I've been writing for the game. I've been writing these fake sort of commercial property descriptions for one of the characters in the game. For players to so
I know what
I've been looking at different commercial property descriptions, and for some reason this one popped up, probably because I typed in MN instead of MI, and I was like, holy cow, look at this thing. It's 80 grand, 3 stories tall. It's got its own cafeteria. You know, if you don't even have to be particularly wealthy, it's 80 grand.
No, that's cheaper than a house.
Yeah, it did make me wonder why it's 80 grand. Yeah. What horrors await me inside, or what, you know, sort of city or back taxes it is owed. You know, exactly what the problem with it is. But
yeah, cosmetic damage, paint, structurally sound, primary materials holding up.
Yeah, a little bit of mold on the first floor, which means burn it with fire.
But it's 28,000 square feet, and 5,000 feet of it is just like the top floor is like open 5,000 feet. Like that would be an awesome house.
That 5,000 square foot area up top probably has like a nice roof deck on both sides for parties. You know, I mean, the only problem is it's in the middle of effing nowhere.
Right.
It's practically in Canada.
It would take you 20 hours to get there.
Well, 25, but you know, because when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if it's near Bemidji, where we go every summer, right? And I'm like, you know, that'd be cool if it was in Bemidji. That'd be excellent. And then the other question is, are any of its fixtures intact? Like, is it covered in Vitso, you know, shelving that's worth, you know, 80 grand?
Buildings,
you know,
buildings built in the 30s. I mean, I'm sure there's been a few real models, but I'd like the copper wires is probably the old school thick stuff and stuff, like the stuff they steal.
That, like buying this, if you had, you know, if it was closer and you had the money to do it, how fun it would be to convert this, because it used to be a community center, convert it into sort of like shared workspace.
Yeah.
Just make sure that everything is properly distanced and stuff like that. It would be, for a lot of people, I know, not having a place to go to work during the day is driving you crazy. So it'd be kind of neat to have some place you could go that's relatively safe, and you could go and work a couple days a week at least.
Well, so here's the problem. It is socially distanced because it's, you know, 12 hours from Ann Arbor.
Right.
I I mean, the only thing it isn't socially distanced from is from the headwaters of the Mississippi, but you're not getting a barge up there, But I don't know. This is
It's a
pretty far
unique.
out.
It's a unique. I mean, it's only 2 Bitcoin. I mean, if you just put it into perspective, it's a real bargain.
But yeah, property is a millstone,
For
that,
sure.
right?
Well, I mean, we've talked about this a little bit before. How right as I was leaving Slashdot, I did a lot of research in the Ann Arbor area. I wanted to find it. My joke was I wanted a factory, but I kind of wanted to build like an art commune or something. And we toured a place even, but that place that we toured was only 120 grand, and it was also like a 10 or 12,000 square foot factory.
Yeah, that was the place near my house, right there in Chelsea.
Yeah. That place was cool.
Yeah, except for the office had been overrun by raccoons.
Yep.
So that was that problem.
Yeah. If that entire office building had just been bulldozed and was not attached, my biggest concern about that whole place was liability. I just don't want to own, it was like 5 acres and it was pretty far out. Somebody's going to eventually do something. The other one was that because that place was like they painted like car luggage toppers or something there. And it was unclear. There were unclear reports on the pollution on the land. I was like, can you imagine buying that place for 100 grand and then discovering that you had a $500,000 liability on the soil?
Also, how many hundreds of topper individual glass windows were in that place? Remember?
Yeah.
There was a giant stack of glass of windows.
Well, they had a forklift, which we were pretty sure that they would take. And there was a generator too. But there was easily 100 grand worth of shit just sitting around in that building that you could just sell if that was included. And it was pretty much an as-is thing because it had been sitting unoccupied for 10 years.
The thing I would like to know about this library is I'd like to see the heating bill.
Oh.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
That's an ice box, man.
Yeah.
It's basically a stone ice box.
I would not be surprised if it was more than the purchase price. Like, I'm sure it is.
Well, so here's the thing. I was driving around where I live now, and I passed an old bank that was for lease, right? And I was like, oh, because it's sort of tucked off a main road, but it's very close to the fiber loop here in the county. And I'm like, oh, anyway, so.
There was a church in downtown Holland. And Rob, you probably remember it, but I don't know if I can describe it. It was across the street from, there was like an education, like a adult learning center by the 7-Eleven, like right in the center of town there. And there was a little church across the street. And it was for sale for a while. And like, this was back when I was like 15 or 14 and riding the bus back and forth, and my bus used to go past it. And like 14-year-old me very much had this idea that it would be the coolest thing in the universe to buy an old church and then turn it into a movie theater and then live in the lobby. And I, honestly, 44-year-old me still thinks it's a good idea.
That's still a great idea. I mean, once the kids are out of the house or something.
Yeah.
So.
There's also a church that I saw for sale, I think, on the drive between here and like Saline, maybe. And every time I saw that, I was like, I want to buy a church. Start my own religion. Church Star Wars.
Church of Star Wars.
That's right.
Oh.
Speaking of Thomas Kinkade and Star Wars.
Oh my!
You were dissing on Thomas Kinkade, and that picture came up like an hour later. I love that.
You should read up on Thomas Kinkade.
I don't. I just like that picture.
This is really funny, though. I'm going to give it to you. This is a hilarious picture.
That's what I like. The other one was.
Well, and you think about it, as the Empire expanded, or even as the rebels were doing their shenanigans, think of like this could be an Ewok hut, and they're like, crud, what's that on the horizon coming through the morning dew? That's a Star Destroyer. That's not
a Ewok hut. That's a Wampa hut.
A Wampa hut. That's where you celebrate Life Day or something.
No, that's Kashyyyk. Wampas live on Hoth. That just looks like if you go south a little bit on Hoth.
That makes sense.
No, nothing makes sense. Star Wars. The other one is that all of the CES announcements are beginning to trickle out, and so there's been a lot of monitor announcements. So if you need a 5K 40-inch curved monitor, Dell's gonna have one for $2,100. Looks pretty sweet.
I saw that. That's great.
60 hertz.
So I'm using a 27-inch 4K, 144 hertz, but 300 hertz. Man, that sounds nice, right? There's been a couple of 300 hertz monitors.
That one's not 300 hertz. That one's only 60.
Wow.
What I was wondering about it is because it's a pretty high resolution. It's too bad that it can't be that resolution at 60 hertz, but then like 1/4 the resolution, but at like 300 hertz. Because I'd probably make that switch. Because I only game, a few hours a week. But having that giant monitor would be super awesome for like right now. Although right now I have two 27 inches side by side and literally every pixel is covered with something related to this chat.
So I'm running the G-Sync UFO test, testufo.com/gsync. So it's butter smooth, though, I gotta tell you. It's so exciting.
Oh, so what fun do we have for this weekend coming, gentlemen?
That's a good question. I was going to play some Wasteland 3.
Ooh, smart.
And unpack more stuff, but yeah.
I'm going to mostly sit around and wait to see if I have COVID.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we hope you don't.
Yeah, me too.
With the voice that you've got going right now, might I suggest you busting into that karaoke machine that I know lives in your basement and really getting in there with some low gravelly numbers?
Yeah, as much Tom Waits as I can.
Yeah. When I get a cold, that is actually something that I often do, is find songs where the singer is down an octave from where my register is and try to sing those songs. It's fun because I'm not a good singer, but I mean well.
Well, here's the thing about I think that Roseman actually doesn't have COVID. I think he either has an STD from just being in the room with the folks he was in the room with, or it's just he's just got a mega bad karaoke voice hangover. Right?
I don't think Rob karaoke's all that often.
I wasn't one of the people singing down there.
I don't know. I just think that you probably got stoned and you were singing along with Freebird or some shit, and that was it.
I sang Taylor Swift's complete album.
Was it Red or Speak Now?
Yeah, I don't know.
It was the one about how some boy left her and she doesn't like him anymore.
Yeah, I think it just did her complete catalog. There's at least 4 hours of singing. So.
You just put Tay-Tay on shuffle?
Yeah.
Nobody puts Tay-Tay on shuffle.
That's true. You know what I watched last night, which holds up pretty damn well, is Sneakers.
What a great movie.
Right? I enjoyed it.
It totally, and everyone is so great in it.
Yeah, it's like
I love David.
It's like a tour de force.
Yeah, it's remarkable. It's a remarkable movie.
Kat claimed that she had never seen it. We got about halfway through, and we got to the part where my voice is my passport, and she's like, and that sequence is incredibly stupid because the way that she does it is really dumb, and it's very obvious, and it's kind of supposed to be, but in that moment, Kat's like, I've seen this movie. the way she said passport is too stupid.
Once you get to Roslyn, you're like, oh yeah, I've seen this. President Roslyn. Well,
that was the thing, is that I didn't recognize her for the first minute or two, and Kat mentions it. I'm like, oh my god, because I haven't watched this movie since Battlestar Galactica came out, and it was just really fun to see. But yeah, she's like, that's Battlestar Galactica. Holy crap! Do we have anything else? There's nothing else.
Think so.
Nothing else on the zone.
I mean, there was the what was it? In Washington D.C. What happened?
The coup.
Oh, the coup.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that, but it's up to y'all if you want to.
I mean, we talked about the fashion sense of the Cliff Lampy impersonator who led the revolt.
That dude is a city shaman. He represents the spirit of Gary, Indiana.
Are you shaman?
No.
I know he calls himself a shaman, which is hilarious.
I just think, that might be one of the cities. he draws spirit from, since it's not obviously nature or anything like that, you know. He probably draws all his power from, you know, man-made construction.
Do you remember
Like
the New Zealand wizard that we had a while ago? Yeah. We should have the New Zealand wizard and the coup shaman. They should have like a fight where they use their powers on each other.
Let's talk about this. Okay. We do. Who has none of the COVID? New Zealand. I think we know whose wizard is better.
Yeah. Well, he really doesn't. He doesn't have access to the heal domain. You see, Chris.
Chose the wrong god.
It's only about pain.
Dear God.
No, I don't think we should get those two together. It would be like Gozer the Gozerian and that sort of thing, you know.
Oh, we got to get these two together.
The gatekeeper to get anywhere near each other. You think 2020 was bad before? Wait until these two meet.
Wait until. Yeah. Wow.
All right, folks. Let's say goodbye to the universe.
Goodbye, universe.
Goodbye, Chris Dabota.
Goodbye, Mr. Malda.
Goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
Later.
This has been episode 563 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda, and we'll see you Tuesday.